Hello everybody, how's it going, and welcome back to a Rambler video. So, yesterday, I touched on the Switch conference, the whole announcement, what I thought of a lot of the games, what I thought of the console itself, how it looked and compared, and it's generally, quite positive overall. Since then, some things that wasn't necessarily announced in the conference, but was either released to the press by Nintendo afterwards, or even was mentioned during like the Treehouse live streams that they had yesterday, kind of came into fruition. So I just wanted to briefly touch on a few of those. There's two here that I'm kind of like, and then there's two that I'm kind of like, well, I guess. So it's not necessarily good things, but not necessarily bad things, except for one of them that's kind of stupid. But, hey, you can't have perfection, I guess. So the first thing really is it was the monthly fee whole subscription service online thing. So they announced that, similar to how Xbox and how PlayStation do it and all that kind of stuff, monthly fee or a yearly thing or whatever. I assume you can buy it in cards or pay credit card, whatever. So they announced that, and they announced a monthly games. So exactly, people were thinking, okay, so how PS Plus or Xbox Gold does, every month there's a game. You can download it if you want to have it, and then, you have the game forever. You can play it all the time. With Xbox, there's backwards compatibility type games with that, same with PS Plus sometimes, and they're generally, both consoles, they'll have good months, they'll have bad months, but, generally speaking, the games are quite good. Like Rayman Origins this month for Xbox Live is pretty sweet, stuff like that, right? You're like, oh, cool, I've always wanted to play this game, now I get the chance to. So everybody was like, cool. And they announced that it was going to be, from the virtual store. So, older games and stuff, which a lot of Nintendo fans are quite happy for and enjoy. So, yeah, I was like, yeah, sweet. There's some older games and stuff that are on there that I've never played that I'd love to try, but I don't want to purchase to try them, right? Like, there are games I'm going to buy on the Virtual Console. There are certain games that, day of release, I don't care if it's free the next month, I will buy. Just to support it and, have Nintendo continue doing it. But what was released of it is you don't get these games for free forever if you download them to your console. You get them for the month, and that's it. So, not free games every month, but a rental every month, basically. So once that month is up, if you do not purchase the game, you can't play it anymore. Now, depending on the price point, even if it's cheaper, like considerably cheaper, say it's only $30 a year, right? Half the price of Xbox Gold, right? Okay. That's still pretty bad. Because, like, Xbox is giving away games that were, like, full price. They were a shit ton of money, not that long ago, a few years ago. Rayman Origins, I think, is still, like, a $30 game. But Nintendo is giving away these games that are ancient, and you can buy for $3 or $4, for the most part. So, it's still a bad practice even there. So, you have two competitors giving free games away forever. Like, you can keep them, and then you have Nintendo that's just like, oh, no, monthly only. You only get it for a month. That's kind of annoying and stupid. Nintendo's not exactly a console that I go to play online anyway, and I know a lot of people that are like that as well. So if they're not going to give me free games, forever, and I know I sound like an asshole here, but realistically, I'm paying them for something I'm never going to use. So why would I pay them for online services if I'm not going to use them, bar giving me the games for free? I don't want a monthly rental thing. A lot of these older games I can probably get my hands on from a friend and play and borrow and see if I like them, and then buy them on the Virtual Console later. So, yeah, that's kind of a stupid practice. Even if you think I'm sounding like petty, like, oh, they're not giving me free games for signing up for their thing. One, it's been proven multiple times on PlayStation and Xbox that it literally costs them next to nothing to actually host and have the servers up, because they both use their own servers, and Nintendo will probably do the same. So really, it's just a cash grab. So what you're really paying for is those free games. and of course the privilege of playing online. But you shouldn't have to purchase that. Like, you shouldn't have to do that. I pay for my fucking internet. I should be able to play online for free. Learn from Steam, goddammit. But, even if you think it sounds petty there, like, I'm still paying $30 a year, even if it's every 2 months instead, right? If it's $30 a year, I don't know what it will be, but let's say it is. Even every 2 months, give me a free game. That's fine. I'll pay that. That's cool. That's fine. I'll get my free games. It's not even free. I'll get the games that I'm paying a monthly subscription for, right? It's like if you paid for a loot box, right? Every month. And they sent you a box of stuff and you got to use it and play with it. But at the end of the month, you had to send it back to them or they'd, I don't know, arrest you, right? You wouldn't do that. So it's just kind of, I don't know. It shows Nintendo's older roots that they really need to shake because, people, Sony and Xbox, even though Xbox is failing miserably, are still eons ahead of them, for coming into this century and realizing everything. Nintendo's whole copyright stance. The Switch conference video I did yesterday was copyright, even though technically it's not because I was critiquing it. I put in an appeal, but I know I won't get it because it's fucking Nintendo. But they copyrighted instantly, instantaneously, right? And it's not copyright, really. I was critiquing it. I wasn't using the whole thing. I wasn't re-uploading it in its entirety. It should be legally monetizable, but it's not. So they're pretty, behind. Meanwhile, Xbox and PlayStation are like, yeah, fuck it. Do playthroughs, do reviews, do guides, do whatever the hell you want, do a whole series and shit. We'll even, they've even gotten behind some of these YouTubers for advertising, for, giving them games to play early and all that kind of shit, right? Companies and stuff like it. It's advertising. And Nintendo is so behind the curve. I know I'm getting into a whole different tangent, but, they're just really behind the curve. And this monthly rental thing kind of proves that. And I hope the whole trial thing, and the backlash that they are getting currently from this does, get back to them and they change it. But it is Nintendo. So we'll see. But I don't know. I can't necessarily see it. Next thing, though, was the add-ons. So add-ons and stuff like that for the Switch. So more or less now just controllers and accessories for the console itself, obviously, because nothing else has come out for it, right? The pricing for it, apparently, it's pretty high, depending on how you see it. It's, yeah, okay, so the Switch Pro controller, so that they announced on the thing that does not come with the console, is $69.99 American. The Joy-Con controllers, both left and right bundled, are $79.99 American. If you just want one, so the left or the right individually, they're $49.99 a piece. If you want the charging grip, they're $29.99. The dock set is $89.99, and the Joy-Con wheel, which I guess would be for Mario Kart and stuff like that, which is a set of two, is $14.99 American. So, I have problems with some of these and I don't with others. The Pro Controller seems a little bit high. The Wii U Pro Controller, even on release, I believe was $55.99 or something like that, or even $64.99. Essentially matching Xbox pricing and stuff like that, or even a little bit lower than that. That's fine. $69.99 American comes out to, I believe it's $89.99 or $99.99 Canadian, which is really expensive for a controller, honestly. That's pretty pricey. I could get an Xbox Elite controller for only a little bit more than that. So it's a bit pricey on the higher end for pricey. I'm hoping that drops or third parties come out, so the Nintendo kind of has to drop it because the sales will be poor. Because if Mad Catz comes out with one, I'll probably grab them because they'll be considerably cheaper. Or even Icon or something like that comes out with one. I'll probably go with those because it'll be cheaper. I'm not paying $100 for a fucking controller, and just no, not happening. Same with the Joy-Con controllers. I understand that they are quite a bit more advanced than your traditional controllers with the gyros and everything they've got, the whole motion sensors and stuff. Again, we'll see how well that works on launch. But $49.99 is not that bad. That's, for one of them. For two of them, $79.99 is also not that bad. That equates to, I believe, $69.99 or something like the Canadian. I don't know Canadian pricings for these quite yet. I read off of American sites, right? So, but $49.99 is not that bad. That's okay. I can, that's fine. Same with the charging grip. $30 is okay. I mean, that's not a terrible price point. But still kind of shitty, but not awful. The Switch dock set, $89.99, which is, I believe, $129 Canadian, is a little bit high. I mean, it is just a dock charging station. Yes, it does upscale the Switch's screen to 1080p, but what it actually does is there's not something in there doing it, right? It's what it is there's a device in the dock that basically overclocks the processing power in the Switch's screen, and that upscales it to 1080p. So it's an upscaling. It's not a true 1080. It's an upscale. So that's a bit high to me for a charge dock and overclocking machine. Like, I could get a charge dock for fucking my Xbox controller for like $15-$20. Even like brand name, like an Energizer one or something like that, I could still $30, right? And I could probably get something like I could get somebody to overclock my graphics card for like $20, right? So kind of fucking high for that kind of shit. The only thing with that, and Nintendo knows this, is outside of a charging station, the Switch dock set and stuff like that is pretty unique. Like, no third-party company is going to make that. They'll make charge sets and stuff, sure, but they're not going to make the actual dock. So if you want, two TVs to have it in your house, you're going to have to buy one. You have to. Like, you're completely out of fucking luck. So yeah, that kind of sucks. And the Joy-Con wheel set, I mean, 2 wheel sets for $15 is not that bad. That's fine. The Wii ones are about that price when they came out. Same with I was gonna say the Wii U ones, but they're the same. But they were the same price when they first came out. I mean, they're cheaper than shit now, but there's a ton of them around and they're just plastic. But set of 2 for $15 is pretty reasonable. So, yeah. Really, just have a complaint with the Pro Controller's pricing, because that's really high, and the dock set. And Nintendo's obviously milking that a little bit. So, yeah. Otherwise, overall, not terrible, but could be considerably better. But, oh well. Now, the other thing is I mentioned it. I'm only going to briefly talk about it. It's what I expected, because it is just a Tegra NVIDIA driver. So, the 720p undocked, at 1280 by 720 resolution, which is fine, and 1080 docked. So full HD console, that's fine, that's cool. So we looked at Skyrim on the thing, and Skyrim looked pretty decent. Like, graphics look great, so I have no complaints about that. It looks fine, and how Nintendo does their style is also, it fits with that. They're very cartoony, and that fits with, a less powerful system. So I'm fine with that. 32 gigabytes internal is kind of weird. I mean, we have 2 terabyte Xboxes now. So 32 gigabytes internal is pretty small. I was expecting, I know it's Nintendo, I was not expecting, even 500 gigs. But I was expecting at least 64, maybe even 128 available later on. We'll probably see 64s later in the lifespan of the console, but 32 just seems very small. Now, I know the games are not going to be downloaded because they are on SD cards this time around. So it's not that problem, but if you want to download quite a few, games off of the Virtual Console and stuff like that, and saves and stuff like that, do take up quite a bit of memory, and updates are a big thing. The Wii U ran into that trouble. I know this one is compatible with SD cards too. You can pop one in, get a 128 and pop it in or something like that. But like updates and stuff like that for the Wii U basically murdered that poor console. You had no choice but to get upgrades. And I was hoping not to have to buy an upgrade for a while for this, but it looks like on like day one I'm about to buy a fucking SD card. So that kind of sucks. It should be more than that. Nintendo should learn of this. Even iPhones have more fucking memory now than they used to, because they're starting to learn their damn lesson. So Nintendo, get on your shit. Make one that's at least 64. At least 64 gigs. 32 is just not enough. It just isn't. And the last thing is, I missed this. This was already kind of known. Games are full price now. you're going to pay the same for a Nintendo game now as you are for an Xbox or PlayStation game. So, yeah. The reasoning for that makes sense, though. Discs are way cheaper to actually put stuff on than SD cards. Like, SD cards are quite pricey to actually put games on, especially when you start getting bigger, because we know that most games and the Switch is fully ready for anything up to, I believe it's 64 gigabyte SD cards, but most games are going to be on 16s. So when they start getting bigger, like, say, Skyrim, which is probably why they pushed it back to fall, a lot of people are like, well, Skyrim, launch title, it comes out in the fall. And why it's pushed back that long is, one, they probably had to configure the fucking thing, but two is they have to figure out what they're going to do for the size. Because it's Skyrim, it's huge. This is a big, big game. So they have to put it on an SD card that's going to fit it. And how are they going to do that with still an affordable price? So I have a feeling that Skyrim, Nintendo might take a loss on just to have a third party come in and do stuff. And hopefully they'll be able to make money in the future with it. I don't know. But yeah, so full price games. Not a huge deal. We pay it anyway. So, I mean, it sucks that Nintendo now has to do it. But for the convenience of SD cards and possibly standardizing a new format, I'm fine with that. Because I honestly would like to get rid of discs. They suck. They scratch really easily. Big downloads are an absolute pain in the ass if you have internet that's shit. They just suck. SD cards should have been the norm a long time ago. Same with even USBs. Should have been the norm a long-ass time ago. So it's nice to see Nintendo trying to push that mold a little bit more. But anyway, that's the only things I had to talk about. That's just stuff I missed or saw after the fact, that was announced after the fact. And yeah, that's really it. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and have fun gaming and whatnot, and enjoy the Switch if you got one, once you get one in March. I have mine pre-ordered. I have Breath of the Wild pre-ordered, and I'm super excited. I am. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.